right, everyone, it is Thursday. I'm Andrew Dow. Time for our Happening in the Hamptons podcast, our weekly breakdown of the Hamptons market, new listings, and events on the East End. We are sponsored today by New York Title Abstract, the Hamptons' leading title insurance firm. Visit NewYorkTitle.com. We have Steve Glick, Dave Rutiner, and today a return guest, Mr. John Healey, who is also joined by son Jack Healey. Welcome on. First time. Make sure you talk nice and close to the mic. You can't mess this up. It's a good conversation. It's nice and easy. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm doing good.
So you are, you guys are a team now, right? I mean, father, son,
working
real
together.
Estate, working together.
We're working together. Correct.
I like it. How did that come together? How did you guys decide we're gonna make this a family business?
Well, I mean, growing up and going back and forth between school, play dates, and whatnot, there's always a pit stop with John. So it's either an open house or checking in an agent or someone who's already moved into a home. So this has kind of been a part of my life since,
Forever.
Forever. So hopping into it is pretty comfortable. You know, it's easy step into what is already known. And, you know, knowing my dad, he just makes everybody else feel confident. And I think that's something to step into, and having the confidence and communication is key. And it's seen out here. And growing up and knowing it, learning it, it's easy to transfer that.
He's saying a lot of nice things about you. You gonna buy him lunch today?
I'm shocked, but I'm very happy.
Breakfast
but I'm very proud
up. Breakfast
too.
is coming up.
You should
know,
be,
I'm
yeah.
super proud that how many. First of all, my career, I'm really happy because I was able to jump into a career that I really enjoy and turn into a full-time career, not a hobby. And it's been excellent. It's really been fun. But then to be able to bring in a family member, your son, your oldest son, and have him kind of already in the beginning move through it quite fluidly and easily, and it's true. You know, I there's a lot of pit stops that I make whenever we go anywhere with the kids. I think we all can recognize that if we have children. You get them to go to Home Depot with you, but then there's 4 stops somewhere along the way, on the way back or whatever, and that's when they're like, you didn't tell us this. Sometimes you don't, but sometimes you do, and depends on what's at the end. If there's ice cream at the end, then they don't really care.
Everybody can be bought.
But I did do probably a lot of pit stops that involved real estate because there was an open house there, or someone wanted to open the door real quick during the day, and I just said, hey guys, I got to run over and do this. So both my kids were really involved in just seeing that, and I think that for Jack, he picked up on the interest of real estate investment. It's proven its worth out here, obviously,
for sure,
10-fold, 20-fold, depending on how long you've been doing it or how long you've been involved in it. That's
great. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys got going on business-wise. I mean, what have you seen as far as sales? We're into summer now. It's like Memorial Day is come and gone. So what are you seeing? Are you seeing more showings? Are people interested in buying, selling? What's kind of the vibe as we get into June?
I think listing. I've got more people that are preparing their house to list, whether it's, the third quarter of the summer. Late July, August is always a good time to put your house on the market while you still have the people here. You're going to expect to close in the fall anyway. So putting your house, in some respects, putting your house on the market, today, you're going to get a lot of showings, but obviously anyone that really loves it and jumps on it, they're going to have to know they're not going to jump in there until fall time, because no one really wants to give up their home middle of the summer. And if you're buying, you've probably already rented or planned your summer out anyway, so you're kind of locked into something else.
Right.
But I do think that it's a lot of prep work now. This is obviously the best time to take pictures.
Yes.
All of the blooming flowers and everything, and you don't want to wait until August when a lot of the stuff is died off. So it's important to get that prep going, and I see that now where I've got a couple of other people that have called me that we spoke 4 months ago and now said, let's do the photos, let's get this going. Yeah. And we'll start rolling listings out during the summer, hopefully late summer.
Nice.
But and rentals, there's still the rental market was a very up and down market for the year. We had some peaks of real busy weekends, and then we had some slow period, and everyone was like, "Hey, what's going on with the rental market?" Then it would come up again, and it's interesting. It kind of, we had a political change this year, so I think a lot of that that up and down plays into that, of course. And we still have a lot of people now, but as we spoke a little bit ago, making decisions quickly on rentals this time of year, I don't think people feel the pressure that they have to make a decision fast.
Just because there's other options out there.
There's other options, and it's frustrating for us sometimes because you really want to not lose the opportunity on a couple of good houses, but you just have to sit and wait and stay in communication with your customer and hope that they're ready to roll.
What's your advice if somebody wants to rent their house? They've had it on the market. Maybe they're like, what's wrong? Is it the price? Is it the furniture? Is it like why would it maybe not move? I
would say, I think landlords should continuously pop into some open houses when they can of the competitors.
Good advice.
And then that way they can see how other people are setting their house up. Are they updating the kitchens, bathrooms, so on and so forth? Even just the, window treatments and couches and fabric. You've got to stay competitive. And if you don't know what the competition is doing in any business, it's going to be hard for you to compete.
Right.
Are people expecting perfection with rentals? You were saying prior to the podcast. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, some people are. I mean, I because there's more options, probably because development has continued over the years. We have more houses built. COVID was really a big boost to get more ownership of houses, and now some of those people have put their houses on the market for rent. If it's a relatively new construction house, that's the bar you've got to catch up to. And if you've been renting your house for 15 years and haven't done anything to it, you're probably going to either reduce your income because you're going to have to take less, or you're going to have to put some money into it and renovate and get it up to speed. But I do think people want the nicest possible house for the money, obviously.
Kind of a balancing act. I mean, if you have a house, a rental, you really need to stay on top of it. You can't just take the money you make and pocket it. You got to set some aside and be like, okay, I made X this year. I'm going to take a certain amount, replace the furniture, fresh paint, whatever the case.
But in the late '90s and most of 2000,
have to do that. Yeah.
you didn't. It was a machine, and you just said thanks for the money, and then you might every 3-4 years paint, but there were a lot of houses I've gone into where your mattresses, your box springs, your setups like that are 20 years old, and people don't
feel that.
You got to step that up at least, and maybe your linens and your towels, and you got to brighten it up and make it look fresh.
But it makes a big difference,
and it's not a lot of money considering what your income. You should always, I think, you should always look at it and say, take 10 to 20% of what comes in for income. And put it back into your house after the rental so that you're ready for next year. It's brought up to snuff.
That's good. Yeah. Let's talk listings. What do you guys got? I know you got the one on Ocean Road.
Well, Ocean Road is the one we're real focused on now. There's been some trades, competitive trades that happened recently. So it's kind of putting us in a brighter light, which is good. It's a phenomenal property, incredible landscaping. In a great location right across from the Bridgehampton Golf Club. But that's one, and we've got a couple new really neat listings coming up. A nice waterfront, a really special waterfront coming up. So I'm looking forward to presenting a couple of new listings coming out. And Jack has been working feverishly on rentals and even commercial leases. So
nice.
He's been keeping himself real busy.
Diving right in. No, it's a nice intro, and going back to kind of where you're feeling out the rentals just coming into the summer. Coming from someone who's a little maybe more boots on the ground than Dad right now, it's a little bit slower, coming a little bit later, but in what's happened, it's still moving. I'm new to this, and I'm still getting action and deals done. So I still see that there is that movement. Yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot of young people. There's probably a lot of young people, or there's probably a lot of people that are interested in what you're doing. Just you're beginning your real estate career. It's sort of a fantasy for a lot of people to get into real estate. You see all the shows and stuff. Has it been everything you thought it would be, or is it a little bit more difficult?
It's that and more. I mean, like we know, I've seen it my whole life. It's kind of been that fantasy job, but it's always been, if you're coming back here, this is what you're going to be doing. Right. So if you're going to be here, buckle down and grind on it and make it your lifestyle. Understand it and live and breathe it.
I think growing up around it helps, because if you're just watching HGTV and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so easy to get a $10 million listing. People just call you off your sign on the road, and it's like, no, you gotta like network yourself, make connections. You gotta meet people. You gotta be out. You gotta be in the office. You gotta be
6 years ago, you're watching YouTube videos in college, and look at this $30 million home in the Hamptons, and you look back and say, well, I could sell that.
I could do that.
I could do that. I've seen that happen. Multiple times.
A lot of people haven't though, so it's like I think you got a leg up, being around your dad and growing up and being fortunate enough to grow up around here and be involved in real estate, and I think that's gonna work out well for you as you get further down the line.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's
Good
talk
stuff.
about numbers.
Yeah. All right.
What do you got? Since we're on listings and numbers and
Well, this is the
business
data of the week of Memorial Day. So this is the week of May 20th. So that leads into the Memorial Day weekend. There are 21 properties that went into contract from West Hampton to Montauk. Last year, there were 26. So we're looking at a decrease of 19%. 2 years ago, there were 29 listings. That's a decrease of 28%. The breakdown of the 21 transactions, there was one over 20 million, one between 15 and 20 million, one between 5 and 10 million, one between 3 and 5 million, 6 between 2 and 3 million, 7 between 1 and 2 million, and 3 under a million. The dollar volume was $57 million. Last year was $140 million. So it's a decrease of 59% in dollar volume. 2 years ago was $83 million. Decrease there of 31%. But the one key factor this week, which is positive, is there were 37 new listings that came onto the market. So it increases the inventory by 16 listings. And the breakdown of the 37 new listings, there was 3 between 10 and 15 million, 9 between 5 and 10 million, 7 between 3 and 5 million, 6 between 2 and 3 million, 9 between 1 and 2 million, and 3 under a million. Inventory stands at 1,977 total listings, 1,535 active, and 442 in contract. So a great week to see new listings coming on. Every week now for the past almost 3 months, we've been seeing 30 plus new listings every single week come onto the market. And this week there were 21 listings went into contract, so we're staying above 20, which is good to see. Still a little low from last year, but hopefully that picks up as we get into the season.
Okay.
I think if we get in the next 4 to 6 months a reduction in interest rates, you'll see we'll be happy to have all the new listings because they'll start to move quickly. Because it seems like every time we get a quarter point or something, it gets people going. There's a lot of people on the fence. There always are. It seems like out here.
They need that one little thing to change their mind, and that, like you said, like a small reduction
and
of
it'd
a
be
quarter
great
of a
during
point.
the summer because that'll get people really moving.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Moving and looking.
Yeah.
What's your overall view on the Hamptons real estate and the macro economy? You were mentioning
Still the best place to invest.
Yeah.
By far. By far. I mean, how do you just, as long as you've, look, some people are lucky that within a year they can turn their investment over and do really well, timing-wise. But no matter what, I think if you're going to sit for 4 years, 6 years, you're going to come out ahead. It's proven in at least my 30 years of doing it. It's a great investment. And you do get the double whammy if you've got a good house and as you were saying, Andrew, the paying attention to your rental and making sure you reinvest to keep it up to date. You have that double whammy that not only can you, when you do sell it, you're going to hopefully do very well, but in the meantime, you can rent it even for a month or 2 weeks and make some income on it. So it's a fluid investment that if you do it right should really produce for you well.
Steve mentioned, I think it was, I don't know if it was in contract or new to market, but it was under $1 million, and it was, I think, 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That number 5 years ago, 7 years ago was way higher. You could find under $1 million. And every year we get, it's like harder and harder to come by that like $800,000-$900,000 house. So it's like, man, wish I bought something 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
We're gonna surpass the $1 million as the low benchmark,
right? Exactly.
For sure. And, and it's not going to take long unless it's a really small or old cottage or something maybe, and it needs a complete gut renovation or tear down.
But some of these under $1 million could be land too. It's not necessarily a house. Like we're looking at 3 listings under $1 million went into contract, and 3 new listings came on under $1 million.
Okay.
So it's like,
but what are
they come on, they come off. They come on and they come off. It could be a piece of land, or like John said, like a small cottage. That
You're
maybe,
treating it like land because
A
you're
literal
probably
roof
gonna tear
over your
it down.
head.
If
Right.
it's old enough, there's still a lot of those older cottages around, and if they're on like a quarter acre.
Right.
But here you are seeing stuff like we did. If you see, there was a pending right now on Summerfield Lane, I believe, and it was asking price was over $8 million, and it's one acre and change.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at
that.
it. Yeah.
That we used to talk. We used to talk $4 million for an acre south of the highway was a standard not too many years ago, and now we're seeing $8 million. That's quite significant, and it just means that we are really running out of land. Good
Not
land.
making any more of it. I
No.
mean, they always say that. It's like it becomes cliche. It's like buy land, they're not making any more of it. But it's like, well,
It's true.
but also
It's 100%
when
true.
you're getting to the point where like the land with the house is valuable, and you're just like buying the house, which is going to be bulldozed. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of says it all.
I mean, the magic question is will my house be worth more, in the future?
Yes.
And that's what I think that's what prevents most people from buying something that they want to buy. Yeah. And
Well, look at the general store at in Sagaponack.
yes.
The pricing is through the roof, but they're packed.
Right.
They're selling. Biblique's steak is $69, and it's packed, and people are buying it.
That sounds cheap. I think
People
it might be more
People
than
are
that.
spending the money, so obviously that just feeds into
It's only crazy
the
if people
investment
aren't
here.
buying.
It just feeds into
Yeah.
the investment
Yeah.
here for sure.
That's true.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Dave, what do you got this weekend?
This weekend, party
Is it going
time?
to be nice?
Ooh, good question.
I
I'm
think
trying to
it's
become one of those weather
possible
people.
rain. It's kind of shaky until next week. It looked like.
All right. How do you know that? You check your
I
phone?
check my weather all the time.
Every day.
All right. You just look at your phone.
He's got to know what he's doing before he goes out to show a property. Like, how am I going to paint this picture? Is it going to be...
I got to make that habit. But this weekend in the Hamptons, all good things. You're going to celebrate 2 local legends at the clubhouse in East Hampton, honoring Bonnick's own Howard and Kenny Wood. The clubhouse has announced that they will celebrate local legends Howard and Kenny Wood, members of the exclusive Suffolk County Hall of Fame, on Friday, May 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. Guests will enjoy complimentary small bites while conversing with friends and sharing great stories. So you can go to that. That's from 5 to 7 p.m. at the clubhouse. And then Kids Squid in Sag Harbor is launching a new beer, which should be cool. So there's a Brew for the Bay release party. That's Friday, May 30th from 5 p.m. So Kids Squid is great. You can always go there for a good time in Sag Harbor. And I like how they do it kind of on the early side. So you can go there and try out their...
Bed by 9.
Yeah, try out their new beer. And it's a family-friendly place.
There you go.
It's a family place. And then, speaking of kids, if you have kids, there's the 8th annual block party at SEMI. So the Children's Museum of the East End has announced they will host their 8th annual block party on Saturday, May 31st from 10 a.m. to noon. Admission is free, and the day of fun will feature block building activities, crafts, and community partners, stomp rockets, chalk art, and more. So you're going to that, right, Jack?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be at the door. I'll take tickets.
Yeah. So that should be fun. And that's. I always like to ask the guests what their favorite restaurants are. What's your favorite restaurant out here?
Probably Bell and Acre.
That's
my
like
God.
We get
the
that a lot.
place.
Oh my God!
gotta go.
How did
The food
I
is
know?
consistent. It's
That's also
consistent.
what
food.
How did I know?
Consistently good.
Sam is their chef, and I've known Sam for a long time, but he's they really put out good, consistent food, and you can't go wrong going there, and it's a nice atmosphere. If it's just 2 of you sitting at the bar, is great, but it's popular. That's for sure.
I think Cheetah Nova in East Hampton is
That's good.
Really, you
Is
like
this-
it there?
is a staple. Yeah, I mean, you know what? From playing t-ball at Pantego and coming back and having the whole baseball team go in there and
Right.
grab a couple pizzas to even now going there for a nice casual dinner date. It's a welcoming environment.
for a
It's
while.
upbeat.
It's been there a long
It's
time.
a good staple. Yeah.
It's
I
a
like
great
that.
staple, and
Yeah.
the menu hasn't changed because
Yeah.
everybody loves what's on it.
Yeah.
Their specials
I
come
agree.
through.
I
They
like
did the
that. I
price
like that
fix this
pick.
past winter.
a good
It's easy.
It's easy, and you see a lot of the people who you know. It's a nice environment, I think.
You're like an East Hampton guy.
It's that was home when I was in East Hampton. Living in East Hampton, that was, let's go peel off the Cheetah Nova, grab a quick pizza and run home real quick. But, they were always welcoming families and baseball teams.
It was the gelato that got the kids when they were young.
The gelato did sell.
It was a big deal there.
Well, this weekend was, it was Memorial Day weekend. I don't think I've ever seen it so busy. It was like, it was crazy. But
it wasn't exactly perfect beach days. There was a couple. But when it
so
wasn't,
maybe that's
everyone
what it
had no
was.
place to go but in the
went
village.
into town.
So the villages were packed.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I think you're right there.
Yeah, you can't go in the water yet. It's too cold. So, even if it's sunny, it was a little breezy. So in town was the place to be. A lot of people dining out, out on the street, al fresco dining.
But it was sort of weird? I noticed on Monday I went to Sag Harbor, like, there was no one there. Everyone left. Monday
they were all
evening?
in Southampton.
They went to Southampton, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, they were in Southampton Village?
They loaded up to launch out. Yeah, because even
that's
Hampton Bays
interesting.
was completely packed on
Yeah,
Monday.
because we were walking around. We went to Budaberry, and it was like it was busy, I guess, but it wasn't like packed. And I was like, I guess everyone's going back already.
Saving 30 minutes by eating in Southampton.
Yeah. That's funny.
By the way, don't forget to look for the celebrity sighting tonight at the Knicks game. Stephen Glick will be there on the court.
Representing, go Knicks.
Get your Saunders gear on. Yeah.
Knicks in 7.
Get
I think they're gonna win.
A Saunders hat. You gotta wear.
I think they're gonna
We'll
win.
be able to find you.
All right. Good deal. Good podcast. We'll have you guys back on again.
Awesome.
Good
Great.
luck this summer
Thanks.
with everything you guys got going
Good
on
luck,
in
Jack.
your new career. Steve, enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you.
Dave,
Enjoy the weekend, I guess.
good insight.
Just be Dave.
Just be Dave. All right, everybody. We'll call that a podcast. I'm Andrew Dowd, and that is what's happening in the Hamptons.